I think before Senco, we have the management of HUDCO joining it. And that's also a company that came out with numbers over the last 24 hours or so. The first quarter was a good quarter for the company. AUM growth came in above estimates. Asset quality also improved, and there's been healthy business momentum. We have Mr. Sanjay Kulshrestha, Chairman and MD of HUDCO, now joining in. So good to have you on. I'm looking at the basic numbers to start off with. Now, disbursements are up about 23.5%. I mean, if I look at it quarter on quarter, year on year, of course, the numbers have really surged. Your loan book quarter on quarter is up about 12%. Year on year is up about 30%. So let's start by first mapping out the expectation for the whole year. What is the kind of loan growth that you're working with? And, how is cost of funds shaping up? What about margins? What do you see ahead?
We had planned our fiscal year very diligently, and you can see in the first quarter itself, we had started making on those steps. The disbursement has, as you have rightly pointed out, we had already crossed around 13,000. In comparison to the last year, quarter one, it was just in hundreds. And similarly, in the pipeline also regarding sanctions also, we had penetrated across the infrastructure. You can name it, like from road to housing, to energy, to water, to power. So everywhere we had started our footprints, and we are emerging as a good institution for infrastructural support for our agencies, and which in turns will become an roadmap for the Viksit Bharat. So we had started on the same lines, and we had taken an internal target of around a disbursement of 35,000 crores. And looking at the sanctions and the pipeline, I think it can easily be achieved. In the meantime, I am very happy to share that Cabinet has already approved PMAY 2.0. And HUDCO has a good role to play in terms of the lending and in terms of the consultancy. So this 35,000 crores of the disbursement, I look at from the very conservative figure for this fiscal. And very soon things will be evolved and the guidelines will be out of the PMAY, and HUDCO will be the beneficiary of all those initiatives of the government of India, and we will be happy to support all these initiatives of the government of India.
So with disbursements of 35,000 crores this year, what will be your total AUM growth? I mean, how much will the book grow overall? Are we talking, 10, 12, 15%? If you could just give us that percentage growth for the overall book.
See, for next two fiscal, by FY26, we had planned that our loan book should go by 1.5 lakh crores. Last year it was 92,000 crores, and during first quarter we had already crossed 1 lakh crores. So during this fiscal we have a target to achieve 1.2 lakh crores, and it is coming out at the CAGR of 25%. And if you compare from the last fiscal, quarter one, we had grown around 30%. So we will be growing in first few years at the CAGR of at least 25%.
Mr. Kulshrestha, just to go back to that PMAY scheme, which was sort of cleared over the weekend, just this weekend morning, Prashant here. Are you still waiting for any details? Because I think there is an interest subsidy component as well. We have some specific details here. How is this? Has this been done in a much better, more expansive way than before, than the first round?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, the government of India continue to work towards the improvement and the increasing penetration of the PMAY. Last PMAY was a historic movement by the government of India, and this PMAY will go ahead with the same intent and the intention, but of course the penetrations will be much higher. And there will be a CLSS program also. There will be a PMAY grants and grants to the state government, and it will come in a very penetrating way. So I'm sure that the guidelines will be available within a week or so, and we are waiting for that. And as we discussed that housing is a main portfolio of the HUDCO, so we will remain be the beneficiary towards the state contribution. And last PMAY also we had contributed around more than 22,000 crores in our loan book, and this PMAY, since this program is of 10 lakh crores and around 2.2 lakh crores being provided by Government of India to the states, then there will be a requirement of the counterpart funding to the states. And this will be a much bigger program, since we are talking about around 3 crores households. So you see, once we talk about 3 crores household, last time it was 1 crore. So this will be a more penetrating and more pointing and more customized form of PMAY, I'm sure.
So will this fast? You're saying FY25, you should be able to disbursement should be easily above 35,000 crores, right? Could this provide a the PMAY 2 provide a much sort of sustain this momentum going forward for the next number of years? What's the expectation? How will this help? How much incremental help from this?
I think since the requirement to the states will be to the tune of 7.8 lakh crores in next 2 to 3 years of the time during the implementation of the PMAY. Some of the amounts the states will be raising through the internal accruals or the STLs, but definitely there will be a good appetite for HUDCO, and we had taken the first mover advantage, and we had been advised to be ready with the guidelines, and I think we are ready to get into the PMAY 2, and the loan disbursement will be higher towards the housing sector because of the PMAY in 2 to 3 years of the time. In first year, since very conservatively we had planned our disbursement at 35,000 crores, but I think we have to revise our figure maybe in the November or December, looking at the pace and the absorption starting of the PMAY by the states.
Can sense the optimism in your tone,
definitely
sir.
It will be on the higher side.
Yeah, congratulations. It's been a good start and you're sounding reasonably optimistic as well. Just want to reconfirm, the loan book by the end of this year will be 1.2 lakh crore by FY25?
Yes.
1.2, all right. So we'll get that.
It is very diligently planned to become 1.2 lakh crores.
Yes, and 1.5 by FY26.
FY26. You are right.
Got it. Let's clear out a couple of other factors then. The NIMs, well, they came off marginally. They've come to around 3% odd. So what's the outlook on the NIMs? If you could tell us, whether the cost of borrowing has moved up, point number one. And the second factor is, what kind of resolutions are you working with for this year? Please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, the company, there are 3 mantras of the company. One is the start penetrating and expanding its loan base. Second is resolving the stress assets, and we have stress assets of totaling to around 2,500 crores, and we had started resolving those stress assets. During last FY also we had resolved few, and during first quarter also we had resolved around 3 stress assets, and we will continue to do so, and our internal target is to resolve all the stress assets by FY26. Around 1,500 crores of the stress assets are under different stages of resolution under NCLT. So we will be aggressively pushing those resolutions along with the other consortium partner. And third is the cost of funds. So cost of fund front, we had worked extensively during last 1 year, and we had tried the international markets in terms of the loan. We had gone for FCNR, we had gone for bonds, we had gone for domestic bonds, and we had tried how to reduce our cost of funds, and we had been successfully reduced weighted average cost of fund from 7.75% to 7.57% in these hours of the higher interest rate regimes. So during these times we are continue to work, and the mandate and the commitment of the company is to have an infrastructure which is more viable, more sustainable. But yes, of course, we will be taking care of our spreads and the NIMs, and the NIMs will remain in the range of 3.3 to 3.5%. And during this time, it has reduced slightly because the growth momentum is higher. Because of that, there is a slight downward on the NIM, but we will be continue to take care of the NIMs at 3.3 to 3.5% level. But if you reduce our EBR, that is around 20,000 crores, which is a fee-based income from us, then our NIMs are in the range of more than 3.5%. So from our loan assets, they are at 3.5%, but if I include the EBR, it is around 3%. But definitely we will be stable at around 3.3 to 3.5%, and similarly the spreads will be in the range of 1.6 to 1.8%.
Sir, just on the point on NIMs in this first quarter dip, I noticed that while your cost of funds has been coming down, as you explained, the yield also came down a little bit, which is why I just want to understand the mix in the loan book. How much right now is pure play housing and how much would be large projects? I mean, I'm looking at the details here. I think you've signed a MOU for a Surat integrated transportation development, I think multimodal transportation hub. You've signed up with the Rajasthan government for infrastructure projects of almost 1 lakh crore. So you're doing a lot of the infrastructure and urban development work as well. So what's the mix in the loan book and which is the higher yielding business, just to understand how yields will move?
Presently, our housing portfolio is around 42%. It is at 42,000 crores. And because of the PMAY, there will be a push towards the housing business. And we had already stopped our HUDCO retail. So we are not into the retail business since the banks are also there and the good rates are being extended to the customers. So we had withdrawn from that market. We will be there to support the affordable housing and economically weaker households to the state government. And this product, because of the PMAY, will have a lot of takers from the states. And this is backed by the state and this is for the social sector. So this will be a good penetrating and branding product for the company. At the same time, if you see our main cash earning projects are, we had started funding to the companies who are more profit generating type of companies. We are moving away from the state government guarantees and the budgetary allocations, and we are looking at the project which are self-sustainable, as you have rightly pointed out, like Surat. And all these good entities and the good projects demands a very competitive kind of pricing. So, we as a Government of India company, which is 75% owned by the Government of India, we will remain committed towards creation of the sustainable infrastructure. So,
but competitive. We got it, sir.
That we have to cut down our.
No, got it. These are high-profile projects. These are, as you say, you want to work with good entities where your payouts happen on time, but then bidding is competitive, and that explains that minor dip in the yields coming through. Thank you very much. It was a very good conversation, and we wish you good luck for the rest of the year as well. So that's HUDCO.